Remember to lay your fabric on your table flat. Do not cut on fold. Place your fabric face up. I've decided I like this kind of suede matte finish of my fabric, even though it's technically the wrong side of my fabric. I've got my grain line over here. So I know where my selvage is, and I can match my grain line on my fabric. Remember to align the grain line of your patterns to the selvage edge of your fabric. Do not forget that. Pay close attention to the grain lines that are on your patterns. Sometimes it's the center back, center front. Make sure you've copied my patterns as accurately as possible so you can ensure that you are cutting on grain. We do not want to cut on bias because that will produce stretch and it can cause our garments to twist if we're not careful. Remember to measure from your selvage edge to your grain line. Measure it in 2 places so you can be confident that these lines are parallel. Please get into the habit of doing this. This is going to give you proper finishes on your garments. Once you have that properly aligned, then you can pin. I pin out into my corners. Keep everything flat. Don't lift your fabric up. Just push the pin in. Let it scrape along the table. If you catch any of the table, if you're working on a surface that has paper or something on it, just pull your pin back a little bit, release that paper, and then you can lift your fabric and paper up at the same time with your pin. So just stab your pin in to both layers, lift it up so that it's clear, and then you can push your pins through. Give it a little bit of a lift, and then push the pins through. This ensures that you're pinning flat. If you lift up the fabric can slip out from underneath you, slip slide around. And then depending on how you've oriented, how you've copied your patterns, you can use the original grain lines from the patterns to then line up the grain lines for subsequent patterns. Now that you know that this is on grain, you can use this as a line to match up other garments. I've got both of my back jacket pieces here, so they're already drafted side by side. As long as I keep my paper flat, I can pin my second one here. So make sure you're laying all your fabric down, lay it flat on the table, face up one way, do not cut on fold. You should have mirrored patterns. Be sure to check Blackboard for the layout for all those patterns and how you can squeeze them into 2 yards of pattern paper. If you manage to draft all of your patterns on grain on your paper, then you just place the entire piece of paper on top of your fabric, pin everything, and you're done. But if you're gonna move things around, rotate them around to make sure they actually fit on the paper, then you'll have to separate your individual pattern pieces and place them separately in different areas on your fabric. Be advised, make sure you are checking the grain lines on all of the patterns because some of the pieces are cut on bias. So please, please, please pay close attention to what you're doing. Slow down, take your time, be patient with yourself. Place these patterns accurately because they're going to give you the best finish.